In the script it'll say small, medium, large. Like, that's what it tells you. It doesn't say, you just got your arm ripped off. It doesn't give you that information. So what you have to do in order to try to differentiate the sound so you're not just going, like, you don't want it all to sound the same. You want to try to localize in your mind where you're getting hit and where you're doing things and how you're doing things. Because a swing is going to sound different than a stab. And you need it to come across that way. And so I think a lot of actors, myself included, do that in the booth while you're doing it because it helps get your body involved, gets your mind, and you remember what you've done. Because I know I already took something in my shoulder, so this time I'm going to take something in the gut. Like, it just makes it easier.
They say that when you imagine something, all the same receptors in the brain fire as if you were actually doing it. So literally sometimes we'll come out of the booth just sweating. I know that happens a lot on video game. I think by the end of it I'm just soaked. And there is a director that I work with on a lot of, primarily video games, who she will give you, when she wants specific things, she will tell you exactly what's happening to you. You know, with each one, she'll say, okay, and you're being eviscerated. Your right arm just got torn off.
You just stepped in hot lava.
You know, yeah.
With your left foot.
And then she always comes up with this one, I forget what it means, you're getting your eye spooned out or something, but there's like a technical term for it that she always says, and I always have to have her explain. I was like, what was that one again? What does that mean? And she'll say, it means your eye's getting spooned out. I'm like, oh, right, I know that one. You know, and then you make that noise. Which is really why you have to use your imagination. The imagination is huge in what we do.
Yeah.
We don't get to be on a set with, you know, props and people running around.
But there have been a few video games where they give you foam rubber props. So you'll have like a sword and a gun while you're standing in the booth. And so videotaping those sessions would be a lot of fun, actually. Like, if they did that. I mean, they don't usually, but that would be fun. Good question. Somebody else had their hand up, but then we called it yes.
I don't know if someone's already asked this, but what kind of artists...
Are you using the gas on me? Because you know I'll answer if you... No, that's okay. right. No. Yes.
You don't know if somebody's already asked it, but what?
What started you guys as voice acting?
Okay, we did answer that, but I answered it, but you didn't. Basically, I was saying I was already an actor. I had already been working in theater and some television and some film, and I sort of one day turned to Yuri and said, hey, what's that voiceover stuff? That looks like fun. How does that work? And we took a class. Right.
You know, we started off just by taking a basic class because we didn't know where to start. It had been something that I had always loved growing up. I mean, I've been watching, you know, animated cartoons since, you know, I was small and smaller, and but I never really looked at it as, oh, well, I could do that, or that could be a job, and so we didn't know where to start, so we just took a basic class, which luckily, because we were in Los Angeles, there were places to do that, you know, but several places to do that.
And then we got our demo reels made up. A demo reel is just sort of, it's your calling card. It basically has a variety of voices, either pulled clips from things you worked on or things that you've written and had engineered and sweetened. Sweetened just means it'll have effects in it, so it doesn't just sound like you're talking. It's got the like all behind it, so it sounds like it actually came from a real show. Did you like how I just did that? That's fun.
That's actually what her demo reel sounds like.
Yeah, I do Foley. I do Foley too. I do all my own Foley. But yeah, so you'll have a demo reel, and then you'll send out your demo reel to studios, and then hopefully you'll get auditions. And so basically, after we took our class, we created our demo reels. Then we started sending out our demo reels, and we started getting called in by people. And once you start getting called in, they see if you're easy or not to work with. And I guess they dubbed us easy, so we kept working.
Yeah, but that's how we got started. It's obviously easier to get started in a place where a lot of the work is happening, where they're casting a lot of shows, and they're recording a lot of things, and where a lot of video game production happens. But you can get started, in essence, anywhere where you can find either, you know, a place to do local theater or make your own movies with your friends, or, you know, any of that sort of stuff. You can get started. So
yes,
that's how we started originally.
Yes.
How long do you find yourself, like, after doing voices for a while?
Sasuke Duck. Wow, that's fantastic. Did you make that?
That's insane.
No,
You found that.
Do they have a Tamari duck?
I think so.
I think they're making They better make one. They better make one. I see someone who's about to buy one.
I need a tamari duck. Go on with your question.
I mean, after doing voices for so long, how often, if ever it's happened, that you find yourselves like, there's a character and you've done Tamari, you've done this, it's just like, how can I refresh my voice? How can I make it sound different? How can I make this new character not sound like Tamari, not sound like Superwoman or anything else that you've done?
Well, I think that happens.
Yeah, the question is, how do you, if you've done so many voices, how do you really end up differentiating the voices so that they don't all start to sound the same? Or
Right.
They don't, keep it fresh.
I think you try to do that with every character you play, because you don't want every character to sound the same. Now, we are limited by our voices, and they have a range. So we have a high end, and a low end, and a gritty end, and a clean end, and we can play within that sort of circle, but we are limited by what our physical structure is. But I think what I try to do to differentiate my characters, and I try to make every character unique, even though some of them are similar. My young girl characters tend to sound fairly similar, because that's my young voice. Like, I just do what I can do. But what I do to keep my characters different is I try to change the emotional sort of point of view. So a character that has a similar vocal range might be coming from a different place emotionally. So I might have one character that's very specific and very no bones about it, cut to the chase, very, very specific. And so that's sort of the mental mind frame of who that character is, and so I keep the voice there. Now, I might have a voice that's same pitch and tonally, but she's a little more flighty, and so her voice is going to sound a little different because she's not as direct and as clear, and I'm not changing my voice pitch-wise, but that's starting to separate and differentiate who that character is. So
I change more your attitude.
I try to change my attitude more than I try to change my voice. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't gotten like weird little characters and I do weird little voices. And that happens sometimes. But I usually, if you're going in to play a woman, I've got a range of vocal levels and resonance that I can use, but then I change my attitude so that my women don't all sound like the same woman. And then sometimes there's crossover because they like the sound and tone you have and they think that would be perfect, and so you try to pull that into whatever you're doing. So I think there's it's a little bit of both. So.
Yeah, I think that happens. As long as the character is changing, your voice will change sort of naturally because the character is different. Which is not to say that some characters won't sound alike. They do from time to time.
Yeah.
But we just hope that the character is differentiated enough so that people don't say, "Oh, that sounds exactly like every other character you do."
Because you don't want people to get tired of you, and you want to be finding something new and different in what you're doing. I mean, you want to be bringing something new and creative and special and unique to
It would get boring for us too if we.
Yeah, if you just always do the same thing all the time, you've done that already. And that's fine if you're enjoying what you're doing, but it's sort of like the way that you sort of make it exciting and interesting is you're trying to find something new in that character because you learn from your characters. So, yes, Saskia again.
Okay. Have either of you guys ever heard of a fan dub on YouTube called Naruto Abridged?
Yes, somebody sent me a link to Naruto Abridged once, and it was really funny.
I don't know what it is, but it sounds funny.
I watch more YouTube than she does. That's okay.
Is it all Naruto in like 30 seconds?
Yeah, it's kind of what it is. They express a lot of the fans' opinions, and they basically shorten the series down into clips of like 8 minutes and make a fight that lasts an entire arc. They definitely give the resolution of it to it. So I was just wondering if you could do, I don't know, if you could say in Saskia's voice, I hate the log. Because
Yes!
I hate the log.
Yes.
I want to get my album recorder.
Everyone's camera phones just came up.
This will be on. If none of you have recorders, don't worry, it'll be up on YouTube in 5 minutes.